concept of reptilian, is it because of the snake? Because I always refer to it as, once again, alien reptilian race.
I mean, it's kind of interchangeable, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's these reptilian beings that are satanic and they have a reptilian energy, and I think there's more than one kind. And even when you talk about demonic beings just looking for a body, you know, they have a reptilian energy. There's no compassion in them. The spirits of the giants that died became demons who look for bodies.
So they became reptilian.
Well, I mean, their fathers were, you know, fallen angels, so some of those were reptilian for sure. I'm sure there were literal reptilian beings, but there's just different kinds of beings, you know what I mean? I can't say it's all one kind.
Right. But this is all other realm, other dimension type beings we're talking about.
Well, like the quote unquote gods, right?
Right.
They can come into our realm too, but that's not their primary habitation.
Right. Okay, so so now if you think about like Catholic priests fucking molesting boys and things like that, now it kind of starts making sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it has nothing to do with Christ or anything like that.
Exactly. No, obviously, but like what you were just talking about before.
Yeah, I mean, the Jesuits, which are the what do you call them? Like the intelligence arm of the Vatican, and they were formed by Kabbalists, pure Jewish Kabbalists formed the Jesuit order, and the Jesuit order basically rules Rome, because within that, they basically, you have the Pope, which is kind of like a figurehead. He's just something people look at to distract people from behind the scenes, because behind the scenes you have these ancient Roman families from, you know, like the Maximus clan, these sort of things, and they're actually related to these Kabbalistic Jewish people because they all come from Esau. So it's like they have this false projection in the world of people are looking either at the Jewish problem or the Roman problem, but they don't understand that it's a distraction. It's like Coke and Pepsi, you know what I mean? They're the same thing. They both have the same bloodline and they know it. That's why they commingle. Like, why do you have Jewish Kabbalists at the highest levels of the Roman Catholic Church? Because they're related.
That starts making sense. Okay, so what about the Crusades and the Ark of the Covenant, man? Because this is now I'm a little confused about this point, as far as King David and King Solomon, because King David fought Goliath, right? And King Solomon was King David's son. Now, so like, where do they come? Like, are they the real? Is King David the real Jew, or like King Solomon? Because this, like, I'm confused a little now, man.
Okay, well, I mean, the Hebrew records in the Bible, right? Those have nothing to do with Judaism. So the writings, things that are written about David in Hebrew history, are totally separate from Judaism. David followed the 10 Commandments. I mean, he sinned and stuff, but he was forgiven. Like, he murdered someone once, but he actually was forgiven for that. So he wasn't like a great guy or anything, but he actually believed in the God of the Bible and the commandments of the Bible. He didn't deal with the Kabbalah or anything like that. And he was from the lineage of the ancient Hebrews, from that king's lineage, because the tribes, the Hebrew tribes, were broken up into 12 tribes, and all of them had different purposes. But the kings were from Judah, and that's where the word Jew comes from the tribe of Judah, and those were the king tribe. So all so all the kings were supposed to come out of that tribe. So David was just, you know, an heir to the throne from that tribe, and Solomon was his son after that. Solomon ended up getting involved with 700 women, and they taught him a bunch of witchcraft from Babylon. And then so he invented this whole style of magic that he contributed to, the world of witchcraft, right?
Because I heard, a version of him controlling legions of demons.
Yeah,
and
he did do that. I mean, there's records about him doing that. Yeah.
700 women. I always, for some reason, thought it was like in the 500s or something. Holy shit. Okay, so I'm gonna take you. All right. Well, all right. So before I take you there, man, because this is wow. This is incredible stuff, man. In the previous podcast, you said Prophet Muhammad being a pedophile. So now, is this again going back to the whole Kabbalistic tradition? Is that why you said that?
No, I said that because it's in. I wouldn't discount the fact that he was involved in Kabbalistic stuff. I don't know. I don't have any sources to prove that definitively, but within Islamic scholarship and within the historical texts of Islam, which they all, they accept these texts as real texts, kind of like, the Hebrew, because what you have to understand is Islam is basically an Ishmaelite tradition. Yeah. So Ishmael,
Abraham's other son, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's interesting because you had basically one son was chosen to carry on the scriptures and the Hebrew tradition out of each lineage. So you had Ishmael and Isaac, and Ishmael tried to murder Isaac. So Isaac was given basically the what do you call, the trust of the records and the language. And Ishmael got offended, and he went off and he formed the tribes of, he formed the tribes of Arabia, basically. And then right after that, Isaac gave birth to Jacob and Esau, and the same exact situation happened with Jacob and Esau, where Esau got offended and he went off and formed the Roman Empire, basically.
So this
just
is
an interesting side note.
That's very, very, very too fucking interesting. That's not even the right word, interesting, right now, man. Well, how is this? It's so interesting how this is repeating back from Cain and Abel, man.
Yeah. But to answer your original question, like that, okay, so that whole Islamic tradition, basically it stems out of the Ishmaelite history and the Ishmaelite tradition. And then later they ended up conquering a large part of the, the Middle East of other people, other tribes, and they imposed their religion upon them, right? But anyway, within their like historiography, Arabic historiography, they accept certain books as valid biographies of Muhammad outside of the Quran, right? Which I'll show you. If just give me one sec.
But then Islam itself is split into two, right? Because you have the
Sunni and the other one,
Shia, right? Sunni and Shia, right? Yeah.
Well, I think let the evidence speak for itself in this case.
Yeah, I see that you're not just pulling this stuff out of your ass, man. Like you literally went in depth with this.
Okay, there are many sources about the fact that Muhammad married a 6-year-old girl, and he had sex with her when she was 9, when she was still playing with dolls. And this is like I'm just quoting what I wrote here. It says this is the original story told by the validated biographers of Muhammad and Islam, which are the oldest biographies of Islam, or Muhammad's life, I mean, Ibn Shak and Tabari, and the hadiths of Bukhari and Muslim. Refer also to the works of Quran commentators Ibn Kathir and Ibn Qayyim. So you go, let me just
Why
read
is it
you
not,
what it says, right?
It's not popping up onto the freaking big screen, man. This is Making me mad right now.
Do you see it though?
I see it. I see it in the little
it?
one. I see it in the little one, but I can't present it on a big screen for some reason.
Okay.
Man. This is like making me mad. But okay, please read it, man, because then I'll try to.
Muhammad married Aisha when she was a child of 7 and lived with her in Medina when she was 9 or 10. She was the only virgin that he married. Her father Abu married her to him, and the apostles gave her 400 dirhams. That's Ibn Ishaq, The Life of Muhammad, translated by Alfred Gularm. The book of Tabari, which most of Islam accepts this book as valid, says the Prophet married Aisha in Mecca 3 years before Hijrah after the death of Khadija at the time she was 6. Again, Tabari, when the Prophet married Aisha, she was very young and not yet ready, so on and so forth for that. The next one, the history of Al-Tabari. In May 623, Allah's Messenger consummated his marriage to Aisha 8 months after his arrival in Medina. He had married her in Mecca 3 years before, after the death of Khadija. At that time, she was 6, according to other accounts, 7. So she was 10 at the most when he did the deed with her. History of Al-Tabari. The Prophet Muhammad married Aisha in Shawwal in the 10th year after the beginning of his prophethood. He consummated the marriage 8 months after emigration. On the day he consummated the marriage, she was 9 years old. Let's try another book. Book of Bukhari, which is widely accepted in Islam and in Islamic scholarship as a real book. It says, narrated by Ursa, the Prophet wrote the marriage contract with Aisha when she was 6 and consummated his marriage with her when she was 9. She remained with him until his death.
But from what I understand in the Quran, I remember you talked about him being 25, marrying this older woman.
He married a lot of women. He was a, what do you call him? A poly. What's it called when you have a lot of wives? Poly. Forget the word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Fuck, man. Yeah, there's a word. I know it's like on tip of my tongue. Yeah, but okay. Holy shit, man.
Divine inspirations do not come to me on the beds of any except that of Aisha. Disgusting. The Prophet and I, this is Aisha speaking, the Prophet and I used to take a bath from a single pot. Okay, I'm not even going to read that. I mean, it's just,
yeah, bro,
disgusting.
That's explicit.
I used to play with the dolls in the presence of the Prophet. Okay, so like he married this girl when she was playing with dolls.
And my girlfriends also used to play with me. Fucking man.
This is another book, Sahih Muslim, mostly accepted by Islam. So, I mean, you got like 3 primary sources at this point, all stating the same thing. Nobody has ever debunked these books as not being real.
That's what I was going to ask.
Know what I mean?
That's what I was going to ask. You don't think that this is some kind of loss of translation or anything like that? Like,
oh, it can't be. I mean, it's just repeated over and over and over.
Right. See that.
Like 3 different guys, had a problem with translation. No, it's not going to happen.
And what is the time period for these texts? Do you know?
I don't know. It would be like if it was on Wikipedia. I could just check it up one sec.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's okay. I can look later, man. But
like Bukhari, the one I referenced, which is probably the most commonly known out of all these that I'm going through. Okay, let me just read what the general description is for that book. It says in Wikipedia, it says Sahih Bukhari is one of 6 major collections of Sunni Islam. These are prophetic traditions or hadiths were collected by the Muslim scholar Muhammad Bukhari after being transmitted orally for generations. Right. Sunni Muslims view this as being one of the 2 most trusted collections, along with Sahih Muslim, which is another one I was just quoting.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Because Quran itself, it was originally, word to mouth kind of thing before it ever got recorded. It was
In some circles, sorry to cut you off, sorry.
No, go ahead. In some circles.
In some circles, actually, let me go up a little bit. It is viewed as one of the two most trusted collections of hadith, yet not generally infallible. It is also used as an authentic hadith collection by Zaidi Shia Muslims. In some circles, it is considered the most authentic book after the Quran, etc. The Arabic word sadiq or sanih, I'm sorry, I'm murdering this word, sahih. So it's Sahih al-Bukhari, which is what the book's called. The Arabic word sahih translates as authentic or correct.